Okay. Chers collègues, bienvenue à cette session. Welcome to this session. I see that it's closed, but it should be open. Chers collègues, chers amis, dear colleagues, thank you for coming at the lunch time. Then we are very glad to introduce this Euratom, the European Atomic Energy Community activities on education and training and on access to research infrastructure. For such purpose, you know, Euratom a research and training program. We provide 150 million euro per year through direct actions led by the Joint Research Center and from indirect actions, that mean the collaborative projects that some of you may know for having participated with the major actors which are all around here the World Nuclear Exhibition. I'm very glad today to introduce 4 colleagues that will try to entertain us in a short time, less than 10 minutes each, on the different aspects. First of all, I will call Karolina Janatkova, which is the responsible for communication in Euratom Research and Training Program, and she will give you a good panorama, a good perspective of what are the European activities on education and training and on open transnational access to research infrastructure. Thank you very much, Carolina. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Domenico. Good afternoon, everybody. So I'll just start by shortly introducing you to the Euratom Research and Training Program for 2021-2025. The Euratom program has been given an envelope of almost 1.4 billion euros in current prices. And as Domenico has already said in the beginning, this is divided into direct and indirect actions. The direct actions are implemented by the Director General for Joint Research Center. This is my colleague Victor that will give a presentation just after me. And then the DG for Research and Innovation, that's me and Domenico. These activities are then divided into fusion research and development, nuclear safety, radiation protection, and of course nuclear fission. Now let's have a look at the Euratom program and the education and training component. One of the goals of the Euratom program is to support the development and sustainability of nuclear expertise and excellence in the European Union. We need qualified workforce to meet our various needs for power generation, but also for non-power applications, nuclear medicine, radiation protection, and much more. What are currently our main challenges? I'd like to summarize them into 3 main bullet points. The first one is that we're currently reaching a high level of retirement workforce. The experienced nuclear scientists and engineers are reaching a point in life when they go into retirement, and we need to ensure that this knowledge, this experience is not lost. We are also facing the low attractiveness of nuclear career in majority of EU countries. I would say that this is slowly changing, especially with COP26. Now nuclear is becoming again attractive, but we need to ensure that this is progressive. There is also a mismatch between acquired education and requirements for getting the first job. So when graduates leave the university, the industry is looking for something else that one they can offer. So we need to ensure mobility, training, and further development. Now let's have a look what is the Euratom work program for 2021-2022 actually doing. We have two main topics. The topic 12, European Facility in Nuclear Research with 9 million euros. And then we have the topic 13, European Nuclear Competence Area with 7 million euros. The first one should provide access to research infrastructures. It should enable to create a network of optimized use of existing nuclear research infrastructures and also enable trans-border collaboration between the European Union and other countries. It's foreseen that member states researchers will go to US, Japan and other countries and vice versa to really experience and learn as much as they can. The second topic is the European Nuclear Competence Area. This is much more complex. We want to improve the insights into the human resources, so HR experts should be involved. We would like to increase the number of nuclear careers by organizing different career days, summer schools, education programs, and different mobility schemes. We're not only covering fission activities, but also fusion. We have the Eurofusion partnership, which is almost 27 different research institutes from the European Union, Ukraine, and Switzerland. And one of their work packages is also to support education and mobility. Apart from Eurofusion, there is the FuseNet Association that is focused mainly on undergraduate students, and every year they organize a FuseNet PhD and master students program. I can share with you some exciting news. The Eurofusion partnership has just opened a fusion exposition. It's called Fusion Power to the People. It was opened in October in Marseille. The exposition is a traveling exposition with the aim of every 6 months visiting a different EU member state. The aim is also to make fusion much more accessible to public and to spread the news of what the European Commission is doing in that field. Eurofusion should prepare nuclear scientists and engineers to pave the way for ITER and then later on for DEMO. Another part of our activities are the prizes. We have a Nuclear Innovation Prize. There are two categories. One is in safety of reactor systems and the other one is radioactive waste management. The deadline to apply is 15th of December, so if you know anyone who could be interested, please share this news. The second prize that we will be awarding is the Soft Innovation Prize. This is awarded biannually at the Soft Symposium. The next one will take place in 2022 in Dubrovnik in Croatia. The Nuclear Innovation Prize will be awarded at the FISA EURAD Waste Conference that I will talk about just in a second. We also have the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Reactions postdoctoral fellowships. For the first time, nuclear scientists are enabled or are eligible to participate in these fellowships. For 2021, there is a budget of 1 million euro. For 2022, there is another extra €1 million. And as I just mentioned, the Nuclear Innovation Prize will be awarded at the FISA 2022 EURAD Waste 2022 conference. It will take place together with the French presidency, with CEA. We have a representative from CEA here as well, Gilles Binan. We're very happy to have you here. And it will take place 30th of May till 3rd of June in Lyon next year. So if you're interested, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We also have a European Commission's booth here, so you're welcome to join us. And I would like to finish my presentation by a quote from our Commissioner, Maria Gabriel, that thanks to Euratom, Europe will maintain world leadership in fusion, nuclear safety, radiation protection, waste management and decommissioning, safeguards and security with the highest level of standards. And now I will give the floor back to Domenico to introduce our next speaker. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Carolina. If you are interested by all what Carolina has just said, we have brought some copies, paper copies, of the program, then you will have all the links where you can find information on all the indirect actions of the Euratom Research and Training Program. As I was mentioning, you have indirect action, collaborative projects, and we have the direct actions led by the Joint Research Center in the different institutes, in ISPRA, in Gale, in Karlsruhe, in Petten. And I'm very glad that Victor is with us and will dresser le tableau, will make a picture of what the GRC is doing and can do for the subject that we are discussing, education, training, and open research to infrastructure. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Domenico. I will try to explain you what is the role and the structure of the Joint Research Center of the European Commission and the programs that we are having on open access to our research infrastructure. Our mission is to provide scientific knowledge, scientific evidence to the European Commission, the European Union policies. So this is the mission of the JRC. To do that, we have 4 institutes in doing research in different fields of the different nuclear fields. We have in Germany, we have an institute doing research in basic actinides and fuels, safeguards for nuclear and nuclear security also. In Geel in Belgium, we are doing research on reference materials and reference measurements. In the Netherlands, in Petten, we have an institute doing research in nuclear materials resistance. And in Italy, in the north of Italy, we have our 4th institute working in the nuclear field, doing non-destructive methods for safeguards of nuclear materials. The biggest part of our budget is coming from the Euratom Research and Training Program 21-25, as my colleague was explaining. And the objective that we address today is with this presentation is to maintain and further develop the expertise and competence in the community. This is you can see the share of our resources devoted to each one of the fields, and you see that 11% of our resources are now used for education and training and open access. This is because we realize that it's very important today, nowadays, to keep this knowledge and expertise in Europe. We have an observatory on human resources, the Human Resources Observatory on nuclear, and every scenario that we analyzed with different shares of nuclear energy in the energy mix of Europe, in each of one scenario, we detected that it's necessary to take action to keep these skills. So that's why we introduced the open access in the open access to our facilities in our strategy for 2030. We think that this is beneficial for both the users of our facilities, because they can perform experiments that otherwise cannot be performed. They can disseminate we help to disseminate the knowledge. We create collaboration between different institutions, etc. But this is also beneficial for us, this opening of our installations. It allows us to network with another institutions. It allows us the benchmarking with another institutions that are top on Europe, and also to spread our knowledge, to collaborate to this dissemination. So all in all, it's an advantage for both, for the users and for us. We have 2 frameworks of access. One is the relevance-driven. The relevance-driven, we make a call. There are some institutions that are interested, apply. The proposals are evaluated by the independent committee, and then these institutions can access to our facilities free of charge. This is mainly for scientific institutions. They can access to our facilities free of charge, but the results of the experiments are, after an embargo period, are open. They will be in open access. The second way to access to our facilities is the market-driven. The market-driven is mainly targeted to the industry. In this case, the users are charged by the cost for the cost of the access, but the results of the experiments are property, are owned by the industry. We had some examples in the past. So we are running already since 2002. We are running some projects on open access. For instance, one example is this Actus Lab. Actus Lab is doing research in actinides, basic properties of actinide research and thermodynamic properties of fuels. It was a successful project. We provided more than 1,400 operating days to users since 2002. The results are, for instance, 155 peer-reviewed publications. We have another example that is EUFRAT. EUFRAT is our facility for measurements of radioactivity, reference measurements of radioactivity. In the period 2014-2020, it was 112 projects running there, 75 organizations on 16 member states. So this is an example of a successful story. But we realized that the problem was for the non-so-wealthy institutions, research institutions, that cannot afford easily to send people to stay 2 or 3 weeks in our institutions. So they cannot pay them the travel, the stay, and so on. So we found an agreement between the two parts of the program, the direct and indirect actions of the program, to offer support to these people that is coming to our facilities. So the way we have a budget of 750,000 euros for 4 years, we are offering 2 kinds of stay: long-term stay for students mainly, up to 3 months, and short-term stay for experienced scientists for 2-3 weeks. That is, the financial support is under some conditions, but we are offering support for the accommodation and the traveling. Of course, the use of our facilities is for free in this case. This program that we started last year, in 2020, allows us not only to open the facilities that we were opening already under the programs of AFTINET and EUFRAT, that were those in Hell and most of them in Karlsruhe, but also to open our facilities for research materials and to open our hot cells in Karlsruhe also for some projects, to make an analysis of spent fuels. This project was started very well. We had 43 proposals, most of them very interesting. Most of them were granted, but we had the pandemic. The pandemic was a big problem for the traveling, for the stay at our facilities, for the use of the facilities. We developed some methods to make online. We developed some methods to transmit the experiments online, to be in real time, with databases, etc. But in some of the projects, in some of the projects that we received, we thought that the access to our facilities, to the safety and security measurements in the controlled area, it was part of the experience. So we just delayed the project. And this is the situation that we have now. And with that, I will thank you very much for your attention. That's all that I wanted to explain you. Thank you very much. Domenico, please.
So many thanks, Victor, also for keeping the time. I know that the lunch is not far. Thank you so much. Then you have now a very good idea of what are the indirect European actions for research, education, training, and access to infrastructure, and also the direct activities of the JRC. Now I'm very glad to invite Gabriel Lazaro-Pavel, which is the Executive Director of the European Nuclear Education Network, which will give also example in practice of what the Euratom activities are doing, also for mobility of master students, PhD students. I'm very glad, Gabriel, that you are with us. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Domenico. So today I will represent the indirect actions, some of them, because it's hardly possible to present all the actions that we are involved into, all the actions that are financed and supported by the European Commission. In principle, my network would like to try to provide very high-class education and training programs for the people. This means that the 83 members of our network are trying to comply with the needs of the industry which is surrounding us today. So this is the part when the indirect actions are coming. We are trying to compete with others and to provide the best possible solution when it comes to education and training. That's why whenever we are having, or whenever our members are having a good idea, the network tries to fulfill this need of the industry by providing these dedicated courses, by providing these supportive actions for the people to acquire the necessary knowledge and competencies to support the needs of the industry. So we have two structures in Belgium, which are very close to the European Commission and to the research centers, and a set of I'm just presenting here a portfolio of projects that we are having, and the rest of them are going to be available for whoever is interested. But what I want to say is that together with these projects, European Commission indirectly finances the people to go to these infrastructures, to go to perform experiments, to attend education and training activities. So we are having here an ELSE project which is dealing with, let's say, leadership, part of the leadership for education. We have the nuclear safeguards projects, which is not only supporting the access to infrastructures and education, but also is supporting the extra EU students, so increasing the competencies of extra EU people coming to Europe to improve their competencies. And now this is the Ariel project, a project which supports, let's say, the intra-EU competence building. And I did not wanted to present here, we just closed a project which supported with over 1 million euros, so 1 million euros in mobilities, in people trying to travel all over Europe and all over the world to gain this necessary competence, to gain this necessary education, for them to have a higher level, the higher level needed by the industry today. We are aiming at more than doubling this, but again, this is an indirect action. We already submitted a project in this sense, and we are waiting for the acknowledgement of this, or the support of this action. So again, today I can say that we are aiming at having more than 2 million euros for the people in increasing their competencies in the nuclear field. So we are aiming at having this opportunity. So thank you. I was informed to have a very short presentation. I'm open for any discussion that we may have. Thank you very much. Back to you, Domenico.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Short is always synthetic and very often very good. Then thank you so much, Gabriel. Then now you know what we are doing in the direct actions, in the indirect action, what NN is doing. And we are very glad to have today with us Gilles Bignan, which works at the CEA. We should not present the CEA in Paris, Centre de l'énergie atomique et des énergies alternatives. Gilles has a PhD in reactor physics and nuclear instrumentation, and he will speak to us about the excellent project Jules Horowitz reactor in Cadarache. Gilles, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Domenico. First, I have to thank my colleagues from the European Commission to invite me, and I would just give you a short example of an infrastructure under construction that is a pure European research machine, and that will be for the benefit of the member states. So I will talk here about the material test reactors, and in fact, you got the CEA booth, which is right behind. So for those who are interested, you can go and have a look on the mock-up and so on. And this kind of research machine will be in support of the nuclear industry, all these industries that you got here, for the fuel and material qualification. The second main objective of this machine will be the production of radioisotope for medical application. And you see maybe you guess on the bottom right of this slide, that we have an aging fleet in Europe. So in fact, the Jules Horowitz reactors objective is to replace these different material test reactors which are in operation today. And we are very happy and proud that the European Commission is a full member of the consortium which is behind that reactors, and the GHR is also, since the beginning, labelized ESFRI. ESFRIs mean European Strategic Forum Research Infrastructures. So it's important for having access for all the 27 member states to this research machine. I will not go in detail on that. So it's a research reactor, so it's not a power one. It's a small and dense core that is there to reproduce the thermohydraulic and chemical condition of the power plants. And of course, we will make some aging accelerating factors to study in incidental and accidental scenario the fuel and material behavior. So it's really for the support to fuel and material qualification. The advantage is that it's a new machine. So we try not to reproduce what we did in the 60s, 70s. We try to have a brand more challenging experiments in support to modeling. And I've seen that because it's a key interest for the young scientists that comes to the GHR team and trying to develop some advanced experiments. So this, compared to the glorious 60s, this kind of machines are quite expensive now, and to proceed, we have an international consortium who is funding and steering. So I don't have time to go in detail on that, but it's mainly European, and as I said, we are proud to have the DGRTD and the GRC, and in the consortium, plus different European and non-European partners. And the interesting thing is that it gathers research organization, nuclear industry, and also the regulators. So I've got an example here of the Finns. For example, VTT in Finland, in the consortium, is representing all the nuclear reactors that you may guess on these slides, the utilities, Fortum, TVO, Fennovoima, but also the regulators took. So this machine is under construction today, and you see some nice view over there, and I invite you to go and to see there is a nice movies right behind on the CEA stand. So you see the reactor block here, the closure head completion. So this is where we'll put the fuel element of the core. In fact, we are not waiting for the startup of the reactors to prepare the community with, and we have different tools to do that. Secondary program for welcoming scientists, working group, where again the GRC are very active, especially Peter and Karlsruhe, the seminar, and we are also labelized as an excellence center from the IAEA. That's typically the kind of example to bring some enthusiasm for the young fellows, is that we are welcoming junior scientists in the GHR team on different topics, and it's not restricted to the European member of the GHR consortium. It's open for the 27 member states. So, for example, recently we have some we had some scientists who was coming from Eastern Europe working on fuel and material modeling. And this is what is indicated in that slide. We have also some working group to prepare the future joint programs, and that is something important, that the experiments, especially the safety dedicated experiment, will be split and shared with a different partner. And we have launched a GHR school that we will have to discuss with NN, because this is it's like what the young call hackathon. I'm too old to understand what it is, but anyway, I understood what they mean. And they make a lot of breakthrough in the experiments, and I really think, as I said, that it's a good initiative to bring the young fellows for challenging experiments in the GHR. We have our annual seminar where, of course, we are invited also non-members of the consortium, especially European, Unfortunately, this picture belongs to 2019 due to pandemia, and I hope that we will be able to have a face-to-face one in 22. And something important, for various reasons, this reactor will be in operation beginning of next decade. So to prepare that, we have some different possibilities of doing some programs in operating reactors today, like BR2 in Belgium, HFR in Netherlands, and so on. And we have also some European joint program today, which is a G-HOPE 2040, which plan to see how the Commission will use the GHR with its 6% of access to the capacity for the benefit of the 27 member states. So Victor, my friend, is strongly embarked on that, and I think it's a good tool to bring the European community around this machine. And I think that's all. And you see the nice blue sky of Provence, so I will go back this afternoon now. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Gilles. Dear colleagues, if you have any question, obviously we are welcome to ask any point that you would like to have clarified. If not, I would just enjoy the meal, enjoy the lunch, and it will be a pleasure to see you between Paris and Brussels. Thank you so much.